Hey guys.
Come on.
How you doing? Hey Tommy.
Yo.
Hey Daniel.
Hello.
So Tommy, got a question for you. I got a note last night asking if, excuse me, if we wanted to give a presentation at the KubeCon China event. When is that? December, I think, something like that. Is that something you'd ever be interested in doing since it's in your time zone?
Me?
Yeah. I'm just wondering. I just wanted to give you the opportunity if you're ever interested. I mean, chances are it's not that big a deal because it's probably just going to be recorded anyway in advance. But if they ever, I was just thinking if it's in China and stuff, and I don't, honestly, I don't remember whether you're in China or Japan. I know you're in that time zone. I was just wondering if you would ever be interested in giving a summary of what we've been doing.
I'll think about it.
Okay. No pressure and no hurry. Just if you do want to do it at some point, just let me know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. Thanks. That was really just a ploy to get you to say something more than yo. So thank you. Okay. Hey, Ginger.
Hey, Doug.
Hello. And Mr. Clemens.
Indeed.
Indeed. Dun, dun, dun. Mr. Mitchell. Always no mic yet. Hey, John.
Good morning.
That was weird. The list of faces for everybody just popped up on my screen and then vanished. That was bizarre.
Welcome to Zoom.
I've never had that happen before.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
see.
Christian here.
Hey, Christian, I'm trying to see how I get that back. Guess I'll play with it later. Let's see. That was Christian. Oops. And hey, Mark.
Hey, Doug.
There's someone else on the phone. Jesse, that's who went flying by. Hey, Jesse.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And David.
Good morning.
How's it going?
Doing well. Thank you.
Hey, Scott.
Morning.
Hey, Lance.
Hey, folks.
Hello.
Who was that? I saw somebody. Oh, that was Lance.
That
was
was,
the other
me, John.
That was John. I thought I saw someone else go flying by. And there was someone else, maybe. No, okay, I guess it must have been you, John. I thought it might have been Eric.
This is Ryan. I just joined.
Oh, hey, Ryan. All right, just one more minute. And there's Mr. Eric. Eric.
Hi, Doug. Sorry, the meeting being recorded thing kept me from actually responding.
That's okay. Are you still on vacation or are you back from your fun?
I'm still in Montana, but I'm working.
No, okay.
I'm here for 3 weeks. I don't quite have that much vacation built up.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Christoph. Oh, hey, Christoph.
How are you?
Good. Thought I might have saw somebody else go flying by. Maybe not. All right. Sorry, I got distracted. Okay. Okay, 3 after the hour. All right, 17 people. Did I miss anybody? I don't think so. Okay, let's keep going. Thank you, Clemens. I see you've been busy. Appreciate that. I'll cross those through. And let's see. Okay, anything from the community people want to bring up? All right, not hearing anything. We'll keep going. All right, so we do not, I'm sorry, we had no SDK call, go away. We did not have an SDK call last week. This week we had the interop call. I would like to have a phone call if you guys are okay with that. So if you are planning on doing some sort of coding around that, please stick around if you can. I have a proposal to try to make some forward progress because I feel like we're a little bit stalled. So please join that if you can. Nothing new from KubeCon LA as far as I know. I did get a note, I think it was just yesterday, talking about KubeCon China in December. Apparently it's going to be virtual. And so we need to answer the question again, do we want to do an event? We still have the option or have the possibility of doing 2 events because we have the working group as well as cloud events. I suspect we may want to do, if anything, the one thing we usually do was just do cloud events and maybe give the working group call or working group's time slot to the workflow team. But think about that. We don't have to answer until September 6th. If you're interested in presenting, please let me know. If we don't get any volunteers, then we need to decide if we're going to do it at all or arm twist somebody to do it. And we'll figure that out later. But anyway, please be thinking about that. Okay.
Doug, Amy just sent out an email about the Project Pavilion stuff.
Oh,
So-
for which one?
For North America. So they did a survey back in July, I guess it was, about who might want to participate in person or virtual or whatever, but this is the actual sign up. So if you want to have a Project Pavilion to sign up in person, or if you want to do virtual project office hours. So that's all due, I think, by next Friday.
Okay, interesting. I didn't get a chance to see that note next.
It just came out.
Okay, yep, thank you. Okay, so that's good that it's due next Friday, so we have time to think about it. So, so please, if I suspect, did it say what it's going to be, or have you looked at it yet? I assume it's the same thing of an hour, what is it, 2 hours, 3 hours, or?
Well, they have the in-person project booth. So I don't know if folks from Cloud Events are going to that or not. That's the same as it always is, where you have to be there. It looks like for the whole, anytime the showcase is open or whatever it's called.
Mhm.
And you'll have a little booth and all that kind of stuff. And then the virtual options are virtual project office hours. You have 2 45-minute sessions for graduated, 1 for incubating and sandbox. And you just have to sign up like you always do on the calendar.
Okay.
And then they also have a virtual platform presence. So I guess they'll be doing inside their virtual offering, they're going to have some kind of like project booth, I guess you can do.
Interesting. Okay. So Scott, are you still planning on doing it in person?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Do you think you might have time to hang out at the booth?
Oh God, no chance.
Not even any hesitation there. Got it. Okay. So just out of curiosity, anybody else on the call here planning on being there in person? Okay, not hearing anything. So it sounds like, at least based upon who's on the call today, if we do anything, it might be virtual. So if you think you may have some time to do the virtual one, I think we'll only get the 1 45-minute session because wait a minute. Yeah, we're incubated project, right? Yeah, we're not sandbox, we're incubator. So we get 1 45-minute session. So think about whether you can volunteer for that 45 minutes. And if you can, please let me know, because that will obviously then adjust the time slots that I try to grab for us. Because obviously if you're in Europe, I try to make it as early as possible. Wait, late as possible. I don't know, figure that out. Early as possible. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, looking for volunteers for that if you want, if you can do it. Okay. All right. Thank you, Ginger, for mentioning that. I appreciate it. Okay, anything else relative to either KubeCon? Okay, I don't see Timur on the call, so nothing there. Wait a minute, is that old? Yeah, sorry. This is old from last week. Apologize for that. Okay, before we get into the PRs and issues, are there any other topics people want to discuss? Okay. moving forward then. This is an easy one. So last week, while talking about this issue where where somebody wanted to add their company name to the primer in a list of platform specific or vendor specific protocols, they wanted to add their company name. We said, nah, forget that. We're just going to kill off this entire blurb here to make it free from advertisement. And then somebody, I think it might have been John, said, hey, what about the contributor section? Why don't we remove the company name or the product names from the contributor section and just have the list of people? And everybody seemed okay with that. So I wrote a PR to remove all the company projects from here. Anybody have any questions or concerns about that?
Looks good to me.
All right, thank you, John. Any objection to approving? And Mark, that implicitly fixes that issue I pinged you about the URL for dispatch being bad.
Yep.
So,
Sounds good.
right. All right. No objections? All right, cool. Thank you all. Boy, I can't type. All right, next. Daniel, lots of discussions on this one. We may not be able to resolve it today, but would you like to introduce changes?
Sure, yeah. So this PR is my attempt to clarify the JSON format spec to match some of the earlier discussion that we've had around around the JSON formats and the content type, which Klaus helped us understand previously. There were a number of comments on the initial text that I put in here, yeah. So thank you, Doug, and thank you, John Skeet. That was actually really helpful. I think I was looking at it again this morning, and I think I determined some of the sources of confusion. So I'm actually in the process of rewriting parts of this right now. So it might be a little bit premature to go over it at the moment. But yes, if anyone else is interested in this in particular, Klaus, I don't know if is Klaus on the, no, I don't think Klaus is on the call.
Klaus is on vacation.
Okay. Well, if anyone else is interested in this topic, please feel free to join the discussion on this PR.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll take a look at this and we'll comment.
I hope to have a revision of this done probably within the next couple hours. So maybe it might make sense to you can look at it now, but maybe might make sense to hold off on specific comments until I push my revision.
Yeah, no worries. For the plus JSON, there is I think we already have a reference at the bottom of the document.
Let me see. Is that case?
We do.
I didn't see anything specific there.
Yeah, there is we have that in. We might have that in the. I wonder whether we have it in the main spec. There's a specific RFC which is defining plus JSON as an extension type.
That would be great. Okay. If that's the case, I'll look for that.
I'm pretty sure that we have this floating around somewhere in one of the specs as a reference, and I think it's a spec in the 5,000, 6,000 somewhere. Let me see.
Well, we don't need to resolve that right now. So.
Well, yeah. So if anyone happens to have the link available, please feel free to leave a comment. That would be really helpful to cite on this, because I didn't know exactly how to what the terminology for that would be.
Okay. Sorry, I was distracted again. Okay, so yeah, but obviously wait till you do your final reviews. Please take a look at it. But in the meantime, and oh, thank you, Daniel, for the summary. Does anybody have any sort of immediate questions for Daniel? Okay, so thank you, Daniel. We'll look for an update, and then we'll try to do a deeper discussion next week. But thanks for taking this on. I appreciate it. Okay, no other questions. We can keep moving forward. Okay, so I don't see this person. I assume his name is Ad. Yeah, Ad. So this issue came forward, and I thought it might be an interesting discussion point for us, just to get some insight into what people's thoughts are around this. So I'll give you a chance to read it. Okay, so what do people think? Oh, Ryan, your hand's up. Cool, thank you. Go for it.
Yeah, sorry. I responded in the Slack as well. It's been a while since this was originally drafted, so I think Clemens was the other person who was involved in the initial draft of this. I think the original reason that we didn't really allow this at least at a core spec level is it starts to force the producers or anyone that is operating on the cloud event that is flowing through to make assumptions about what's in data.
Yeah.
So that's one piece. And the other piece is it also potentially means that any producer that implements the subscription API or the filter dialect that is in the core spec is now required to potentially parse data as well and inspect it. And I think we just believe that that would be too onerous and a little bit too complex to be in a core spec. And there is a way to extend this by introducing new proprietary, or not necessarily proprietary, but extended filter dialects. So this is still possible, but we didn't believe that it was appropriate for the core spec, given that it starts to it forces making assumptions about what's in data. Does that resonate with what you remember, Clemens?
Yes, not touching the message body is actually one of the core principles of our team here at Microsoft. And there are many reasons of which you enumerated some. And that my killer argument for this is end-to-end encryption, because eventually we will have it. And the reason why we have metadata is because we want to provide some insight into the payload without having to open the payload. What also makes this hard for a message broker in general, and making this a feature will kind of will force message brokers to kind of implement it, is that it is opening up the door for effectively an unrestricted compute feature inside of the broker. Because if you can filter, and you can do this on a fairly sizable payload of whatever, a megabyte or 10, then you're spending a lot of time in parsing the document and then walking through the document, doing the filter expressions. So it gets enormously expensive. And so, and also, now you're then in the boat of, if you want to be compliant and you want to go and support all the encodings that we have, you don't have to worry only about the encodings for the envelope, but you really have to worry about the encodings kind of in the payload. So now you're parsing on the server side Avro and Proto and JSON. And while JSON is not bad, for Proto and for Avro, you can't crack the payload unless you know the feature, the schema. So now all of a sudden you have a hard dependency on the schema registry for everything because you want to be able to filter. So this is a super slippery slope and opens up a giant rat hole of issues. And that's why if you look across the broker landscape, nobody touches the payload. Payload is always sacred, and those brokers which do touch the payload are really transformation engines mostly.
Interesting. Right. Anybody else want to comment on this one?
I largely agree with Clemens. And at the same time, I feel that I should stand slightly up for ad in that this might actually be quite a useful product at a kind of ecosystem level. Although anyway, I could see that being a valuable thing for a platform to provide as some kind of an efficient filtering mechanism that say allows for a far more unified stream or other event flow, and then filters it to just those consumers that are interested in the information. But again, I think that Clemens is starting from the right position, and that putting this into the core spec would be problematic.
And just as a reality check, we made the in quotes mistake to go and do this on the original on Event Grid on our proprietary format, and we're now of course in the place that we can only support this for JSON. So now as we're introducing binary formats, the engineering team that did this is now scratching their heads on how they think about that feature, and they are now getting kind of a "I told you so" on that issue. So it's once you touch the message body, then you're all of a sudden constraining yourself to certain formats, and are just limiting the scope of your product. So that's the issue.
Okay. Two things. One, Ryan, you said something interesting. I definitely don't disagree with anything you guys have said, but I do have a question for you. Actually, it's not for Ryan, just in general. Ryan, you said that someone could do this if they wanted to as sort of an extension filter kind of thing. Is there anything in any of our specs, I guess either the discovery or the subscription spec, that would indicate that you cannot write a filter over things that are in the body? Because I was just quickly looking at the spec. I don't think anything in there that says filters have to be over just the metadata. So I think that leaves the door open for someone to do something like that if they wanted to. But is Clemens or anybody else who's deep into the specs, can you think of anything in there that would prevent someone from writing their own filter dialect if they really wanted to scan the body?
I'd have to read through it again. It's been a little while. I glanced through it this morning just to refresh, but I don't think there's anything in there that, at least in the I believe it's in the subscription API, which covers the dialects or the how the dialects work and how you specify a dialect in the subscription. I don't think there's any language in there that would prevent someone from extending it and inspecting the body, but I could be wrong.
Okay, cool, thank you. All right, Scott, your hand's up.
Yeah, my only thought is that we don't really support multi-layer keys. So at the moment, the only thing that we could filter on is the top level attributes. But yeah, you could add another filter if you wanted to.
Right. Okay. All right. So I just, in fairness, is there anybody who'd like to speak up in favor of, in essence, not closing this issue? Kind of a double negative there implicitly.
I guess maybe one question is that I have a sense that this is something that is going to come up again. Should we put language in here that explains why we don't do this, or do we think that's not really appropriate for the spec?
Well, okay, that was going to lead into my next point, which is Clemens, since you stated everything so eloquently, would you be willing to respond to this issue, explaining why we chose not to do it, and they could write their own filter expression thing if they wanted to, but we don't think it's appropriate for us to do it?
Yes, let me just open that up and reply to it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Now, it's kind of related to that, and maybe Ryan, this is where you're going, is this the kind of thing we should put into a primer so that people know why we chose not to do this? I know we don't have a primer yet for the subscription spec, but maybe this would be a good input into that when we get around to writing one.
good question, Doug. And I think everybody says yes.
Just checking. Okay, so tell you what, I will, where's the notes here? I will take the AI to do something around the primer thing, whether it's just open issue or get a starting doc going and just add this as a list as a topic to add in there. I'll do something so we don't forget about it. If Clemens, you can take the action to help close out this issue, I'd appreciate that. By making that comment there. All right, cool. Any other comments on this one before we move on? All right, cool. Thank you all for joining in. Appreciate that. All right, that is it in terms of the formal agenda. Just so you know, I did get pinged from Ahmed earlier this morning. Unfortunately, he had something come up that made it so we could not make the call today. So we'll push this out till next week. But are there any other topics people would like to bring up? Otherwise, we're at the end of the agenda and we can steal the time to talk about discovery interrupt. All right, just to double check, did I miss anybody for the attendee list if you're planning on dropping off in a minute? I think I got everybody. Okay, so if you're not interested in the discovery interrupt, you are free to go and have a good rest of your day and week. For everybody else doing interrupt stuff, please stick around for a little bit. I just have a quick discussion point for people. All right, thank you all. And let's go over here. It's weird not hearing beeps from people leave. I'm so used to WebEx. All right, I think we lost people.
Beep.
All right, so yeah, thank you, thank you. All right, so as I said, I feel like we're kind of stalled a little in terms of interop. So what I wanted to do was to put a proposal out there, just to sort of force our hand, myself included. What I'm wondering is maybe what we could do is scale it back a lot and basically say by a certain date, I'd like to pick a date in the not too distant future, say, okay, anybody that wants to participate will put up an endpoint, they'll just pre-populate a list of services and all they have to support are these. So get all services, get by ID, and get by filtering by name. Very, very simple. That should at least get at least a couple of endpoints out there that we can then start playing with. And then we can look at round 2 and 3 to add more and more function as we go. And my initial guess or nagging proposal was by next week. Comments, thoughts? I will pick on people if I have to. Okay, Scott, let me pick on you because I think you were planning on doing an implementation at some point, right?
Yeah, maybe plans change.
No, it's not allowed. So is it completely off the table or?
I have to check my schedule, but it's gonna be a little tight.
Okay.
Target date August, yeah.
Well,
I
don't say it
think
that way. Say it more, even say it in a more harsher term, not just August, next week.
Oh, next week? No, sorry.
Because that was my proposal. If we move it out, but to say the 26th, would that be more doable for you?
No.
No, okay. Okay, so let me pick on somebody else then. Clemens, I think you were planning on doing implementation.
I have a server as a shim over over the Azure Resource Manager, but I don't, and I haven't, and I have had this for a while, but I haven't done the client cases yet, like the client scenario. So I have I have endpoints, but I don't have the client side of it.
That okay. I mean, obviously, at some point, I guess implied in here, I guess I should write out. Someone needs to write a client.
Yeah.
To test it.
that would be enormously helpful.
Yes, I personally, I don't mind volunteering to do that. That's trivial. To me, the more interesting thing is, sure, you can write a client that has some gets. It'd be nice if the client actually verified some stuff, right? So for example, maybe first did this one and then went through and did each individual one and make sure the results came back as the same, just some quick little checks like that. I think that's very doable in my time frame. So, but you said you have an endpoint up already. Is that available for people to hit or is that a private?
And that is currently I have been context switching away so much that I am, I actually don't know. Like, I own the thing, I wrote the thing, I hosted the thing. I have no idea where it is right now.
I want to say I haven't been there, but unfortunately I have been. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I think after my vacation, that's one of the things that I didn't remember about my job. So I have to go and try again.
Okay. Do you think by next week you could have, you could find it and then make it available for other people to hit?
I got myself to clear up 3 AIs today. So yes, I will.
Okay. All right. Now we have other people. Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have other people on the call. Since you did not leave, that means you're volunteering for something, at least to get picked on. So they need to pick on some people here. David, were you hoping to do an implementation of some kind, or are you just lingering for fun?
I want to do an implementation. I'm just way behind on other items. So it's on my list, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Okay. Eric, not that I want to steal away your pseudo vacation. There you go. You're a linger. Thank you. Okay. John?
I'm assuming you're saying me? Yeah, no.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I started a new job and I'm swamped.
Okay, not a problem. What about how? You guys planning on doing anything?
So this has to be done by the 19th. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it doesn't have to be. That's what I'm pushing for, because I want to be I feel like we need some nagging. So that's the date I put out there. If you could do it by the week after, 26, that's fine too. I just want to get some forward progress.
Let me discuss with my team and I'll get back to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, David. So let's see. Clemens, yes, for next week. David, maybe after 19th. Okay, Scott, no. Eric, no. Actually, let me leave off the nose. We don't need to say that. How? What about you? You still there, or do you walk away? Okay. Mark, should I assume you're in the same position as Scott, since you guys both work with VMware?
Sure.
Sure. Okay. Tommy, anything from your side?
I'm fine now.
Okay. Thanks for chiming in. All right. Okay. So we'll see how this goes. Maybe this will put pressure on people. Maybe actually I will ping Remy, because I think he's been away on baby duty for a while. He's got to get back to work at some point. So let me ping him and see what he's planning on doing, because I know he at least had a rough implementation going. So I'll ping him. Okay, and I'll do something too. Work on client too. Okay, cool. All right. Is there anything else on the discovery interop stuff people think we should talk about? People want to bring up anything at all? All right, cool. In that case, any other topics in general about anything? Otherwise, we'll adjourn. All right, cool. In that case, thank you all for hanging out for the second phone call, and I'll let you go. And we'll talk again next week. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Cheers. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks.